Hey everyone, it's Alicia too, and welcome back to Knotfest Heavy Conversations. Today I'm joined by my fellow hosts Daniel Decay, Ryan J. Downey, and Corey Westbrook. Hello everyone, what's new?
What up?
Hello, Alicia. Hello.
Give me a little tidbit. What's like one of the coolest things to have happened within the last week or so?
I got
Ooh.
some new vinyl in the mail. That was pretty exciting. I know that's such a rare occurrence for me who clearly does not have a vinyl addiction at all.
What's that right behind you? That strange device? Does
This
that
one-
play compact
What?
discs? No, I'm looking
No,
on the other
this
side.
this is
Yeah, what
my
is that
LP
thing?
player. This is my turntable. This bitch
Strange.
is
What is
from
that?
1976 and it is a beast and I love her.
Does she have a name?
Not yet. Maybe we can name her on the stream.
Oh, okay. Let's everyone brainstorm a little bit. But while we
Dude, yeah.
let's
Yeah.
brainstorm. As we sit on that, Decay, how about you? Coolest, bizarrest, weirdest thing that's happened?
I'll go along with the vinyl thing. The Corey's on got me on the vinyl tip. I got the new Voivod box set.
Oh,
That's just
Ooh,
lovely.
that's so nice.
I literally
Yeah.
just said killing technology right before we
I know.
started the stream.
And
And I didn't
Voivod-
know that.
You said Voivod, she said vinyl. I'm like, okay, well, like this is like just meant to be. Yeah, it's like really insanely well put together. All this attention to detail, reissues of the classic era albums, live album, all sorts of unreleased stuff, a show that's never been before seen, bootlegs. It's like really well done, comprehensively, put together. Bunch of cool shit. If you're a Voivod fan, check it out.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Downey.
Go Canada.
cool.
Also, that brings all three of us into that Voivod thing because they're from Canada.
Very true.
Well, since we're doing show and tell for things that we've purchased or acquired recently, this is unfortunately in another room, so I can only show you the box right now. But I got this, and I am also, by the way, a beast from the 1970s, much like Corey's record player. I got this little integrity bust, which is the symbol iconography of one of my favorite bands of all time, the band that invented the genre metalcore. Prove me wrong, you can't. Well, 154 of 500. Yeah, it's a neat little it's like a paperweight or a little desktoper. It actually has some like weight to it when you hold it. And it's also interesting whenever you see these kind of symbols that you've only seen on album covers and merch from the front forever, that the bust, which again is in a different room, this is just the box, it's on my desk, but they had to sculpt like the side and the back, so it's sort of like, oh, now we see what the integrity skull looks like from the back.
It's
Who
awesome.
knew?
You like stuff, right? You like I could see that shelf behind you. You like
I
stuff.
do like stuff. Yeah,
He
there
likes
is
stuff
there is
quite a
other
bit.
stuff on that shelf.
I think we
for sure.
all like our stuff except Alicia, who is just
Yeah,
always
she's
in
very
front of a white
stuffless
wall.
at the moment.
No, I usually have some kind of cool background up or something, but I'm moving, so everything around me right now, it looks like some mayhem went down. So I was like, oh, there's one white wall. Hell yeah, I can do this for a month
Yeah,
or so.
it looks
and
like
then
you're
when
talking just from a void.
it's what it feels like. I feel so far away. I do. But anyways, since we are talking about merchandise, it's a perfect segue into the very first topic, as there's a new article up on knotfest.com featuring some of the coolest band merch you can get your hands on. So if you guys would like to know more before we dive in, please hit up knotfest.com for more. There's a really touching tee that has been recently released featuring Trevor from the Black Dahlia murder, where sales are going to help recover expenses from his passing. There are also new jerseys up there, pins, and a bunch of other artists. So checking out the article, kind of seeing some of the things on there. What were your thoughts, panel? Let's start with you, Downey.
Yeah, I love seeing that tribute to Trevor. He was friend, acquaintance, not somebody that I knew super well, but somebody that I knew and somebody who I loved, and of course our community loves quite appropriately. I love seeing that shirt, and I was reminded there's actually a video that's going viral, air quotes. It's probably just the way the algorithm targets me also, but James Hetfield, who I know Daniel just saw a few days ago. It might have even been from the show you were at, but it's him just before going into kind of the more aggressive part of Fade to Black, and he does this like very moving speech really to the crowd about how we all deal with darkness, and the topic of suicide is something that you weren't supposed to talk about, quote unquote, but that we should. And And he sends a very moving, powerful message out to the audience that if that's something you're seriously considering, please don't talk to somebody and know that you are loved. And not to make it super heavy, but obviously we can't and shouldn't talk about Trevor and his legacy without talking about depression and mental illness and things that are bigger than buzzwords. And I think this culture, this heavy culture, for all of its window dressing from the outside of blood and guts and murder and darkness, is really a celebration of life. And part of that celebration is being realistic and honest about the dark side of it. And this is a community that embraces it full on. And it's lovely to see him celebrated. That t-shirt is very cool. And it's important, I think, to keep that conversation going about the stuff he struggled with.
That was that show. It was Buffalo the other night.
Was it really the show you were at where he made that?
Yeah, I was in Buffalo the other night. Yeah, right in the middle of Fade. It fades and he's about to play the riff. And he's like, I wrote this song about suicide in 1984. Like, emphasizing that it was a problem then, it's a problem now. It's something that touches all of us. Yeah, I was bawling. I was fucking bawling.
Yeah.
Someone loves you. I love you.
Damn.
And it was pretty, He's James is going through it, man. James is it's had a rough couple years, and he's strong, man. He looks really good right now. But yeah, I like that he's using his platform to kind of address it. He had that, they had that band hug on stage a couple months ago where he talked about he was dealing with his demons backstage and didn't even feel like himself, didn't want to come out there, and kind of just I like that, James is as much fun as you can poke at. Like the meltdown they had in Saint Anger, it was on Some Kind of Monster. It's like very obvious that this is a band that like didn't address their mental health issues for a long time and are now doing it and seemingly much healthier because of it. So hey, if Metallica is going to be the people that we listen to be the spokesperson for mental health and heavy metal, then I'm all for it, because it's a real thing.
And he's displayed a real tangible, multifaceted, multidimensional vision of masculinity, because on the one hand he's the like 6 foot something tough guy who goes out into the frozen tundras of Russia and hunts giant bears, and then on the other hand we also see this very vulnerable person where he's from a broken family and had a lot of childhood struggles, and deals with things as a parent, has a lot of these different sides. And I think that that's so key and so important, is being able to feel like you can express vulnerability, and that can be part of that whole package of being a whole complete person, as opposed to like, oh, you're just like super tough or you're just like super emo. It's like, no, we all have multiple sides to us, and this culture is great to explore that in.
No, it's completely true. And go ahead, D.
Great. You should host a Metallica podcast.
You should.
I think he'd be really good.
I literally have your number.
No, it's cool to see, because both.
Sorry, we have Decay and I have an inside joke now from the last 2 days.
Oh, do you? A very recent one? Okay, yeah, because I was kind of like, I'm like, all right, there's definitely something going on there.
Like commenting on Metallica's photos, guests on your podcast. So I'm like, you literally have my number.
Yeah. I was like, he had commented on a Metallica photo, and then I replied to his comment and said, why haven't you been on my podcast? And he replied, you literally have my number. So touche.
Gotta use those resources, Downey.
Yeah.
Corey, do you have anything to add before we move on to our next topic?
Oh no, you guys, this is it's a bit of a harder topic for me, because I was kind of closer to Trevor. We did the show together, Pulse of the Maggots and everything. So seeing that right up at the top, it's like it's still a bit raw for me. But on a happier note, one piece of merch I do want to shout out in the roundup that we have this week is that Carnifex shirt. That long sleeve is pretty friggin' sick, and I love it personally. So like, happier note, check out that one, because that one is super cool.
Sick. Yeah.
Again, everything's available. Everything's available for purchase, guys, at notfest.com. So all you gotta do is head over there, of course, once you were done watching Notfest Heavy Conversations. Now we're gonna go into the normal cues that we go into, favorite track of the week. so much stuff's been released. So what are you currently listening to at the moment, or what are you just really loving, even if it's not new? Start with Decay this time.
I'm still listening to the new Fugitive EP, Maniac.
Okay.
It's fucking awesome. Features Blake from Power Trip, Link from Creeping Death, members of Scourge and Palers. Like, it's a super group, if you will. You know, Texas has all the best bands, clearly. It's like crossovery, fast, you know, thrashy riffs, gritty hardcore vocals, tons of attitude, tons of groove. Some of that, like, you know, a little bit of that moshing swagger to it. They played their first show this weekend at the Wrecking Ball Metal Madness in Dallas. It looked insane. They're playing at Psycho this weekend. I'm going to see that. But everybody, they've been teasing the EP, and then they just like dropped it on Bandcamp, just like, hey, it's here. Check it out. And it's fucking awesome. Check out the new Fugitive.
Okay. Downey, your pick.
Bringing it back around to the greatest metal band ever from Canada, Voivod. They have put out a bunch of the demos from Dimension Hatros, which is, again, one of my favorite albums of all time, like very high on the list. I think the peak of what they were doing, I celebrate the entire catalog, as they say in Office Space, but Dimension Hatros is my favorite Voivod record. If you look at my Twitter bio where it says location, my location is set to Dimension Hatros and has been for a long time.
There it is.
There it is. And of course, Away, the drummer, mastermind, conceptual person, band leader of Voivod, who does all of their artwork, including that awesome artwork we just looked at. Just an incredible person, an incredible talent. And of course, these demos are a great testament to the late, great Piggy, the guitarist who just had such a pioneering, definitive, strange, unique, immediately identifiable tone and sound. Even hearing it on those demos, it's always fun to be able to get that like look of reverse engineering songs that you know so well, recordings that are imprinted in you, hearing these alternate takes and alternate versions that are preserved from that same era, from that same lineup. So it's very cool. That's semi-newly released, and all of it's on Spotify, and some of it's in Daniel Decay's hands for you analog folks out there.
Corey, your choice.
Oh boy. Okay. So speaking of integrity, the new Spirit World track that features Dweed Hellion, Moonlit Torture, which, I mean, that just sounds like my average Saturday night, whatever. No big deal. That one is awesome. The new one from Orthodox, Head on a Spike. Apparently I have been in a little bit of an angry mood this week. I don't know, whatever. That one was badass.
This week, I thought you were going to say like for the last couple of years, but
for the last 33 years, I've been in a little bit of an angry mood. But the one that's really standing out to me is the new one from Death Scythe. They are a melodic death metal outfit out of Mexico. Their new track, Hollow Darkness, they just released. It's just a video, so it's not on streaming yet, but it is on YouTube. Their new album comes out on the 26th, and that track is awesome. And I said it on my stream yesterday. I'm saying it here. I'm going to say it until somebody listens to me. They need to tour with the Halo Effect, or I will not rest. I will not be able to sleep until that happens. Also, I did get my new copy of Half. Finally, the vinyl came in the mail. And seriously, you guys have to look at this and tell me if I'm wrong. Does this or does this not remind you of the elephant graveyard from The Lion King? Like, I love this album. I love the artwork, but it totally reminds me of The Lion King.
What a juxtaposition right there, right?
Right? Like Lion King, death metal Lion King. It's fine. I mean, people die in that. It's
proving once and for all
metal.
how grim those child movies are.
Right?
Movies.
How messed up was Disney when we were kids?
It
But those are what I'm spinning this, and I'm spinning those tracks.
Kind of look like the South of Heaven skull.
South of Heaven meets Lion King.
Yeah.
South of Lion King.
That's a fucked up combination.
That's
South
not
of Heaven King?
Nutshell. I don't know what is. South of Heaven meets Lion King.
Maybe there's like a Pink Floyd Wizard of Oz, like, you know, you can sync up South of Heaven to the Lion King, and maybe there's some Parallels. Someone out there watching this.
You
give
know,
that a
someone
try,
on
let us
YouTube's
know.
already done it.
Yeah, probably. And if they haven't, they will be.
Now they will. Now they will. You heard it here first, folks. For me, I've been spinning a new Clutch song, which dropped this morning, actually. I've played it a
Oh,
few
yeah.
times. I'm like, hell yeah, this is really good. It's from a new album coming out on the 16th of September called Sunrise on Slaughter Beach. The song itself is called Slaughter Beach. And it's just a crazy bluesy rock song. It's just hits you instantly from the jump, but like it's kind of sludgy, has a great groove. So yeah, that's kind of occupied my morning, had on repeat a few times, and I'm excited to venture into that entire record when it comes out a month from today. But next topic, this one I love because so many festivals are still getting announced, and I'm still not over the fact that things are getting announced and not being canceled. Like, it's mind-blowing to me. We've been in such a funk, and that's so exciting. So for you guys, what has you hyped at the moment for a new tour festival that was recently announced?
Mine's actually a local band to me. They announced like a 5-date Pacific Northwest run. It's a metalcore band called Ligature. I think
Okay.
I've worn the shirt a few times on this stream. Honestly, the vocals, they're very powerful, alternating between the clean and the aggressive. If you haven't looked up that band, do it. Start with the song Talisman. It is boss. They put in so much effort to their videos, and I actually first discovered them when they were opening at another show that I went to. I can't even remember what show I was at now, but I remember that band, and now it'll be the first time I get to see them in freaking years. So I am stoked that they're hitting the road.
Downey, your pick.
I'm gonna go with that just announced yesterday. Our good friends at Knotfest, Bloodstock, released a bunch of the bands that will be playing Bloodstock in August 2023. And like you said, yeah, it's still such a crazy feeling to be like, not only are festivals happening, but they're getting announced continuously and are alleged to be happening as well in the future. One of the bands on Bloodstock is Unto Others, being represented on this video right now. Gate Creeper is playing, Knocked Loose, and two headliners were announced, which were the great new wave of American metalcore innovators, Killswitch Engage,
Nice.
and the band that got me into metal, and the band that I still love dearly, Megadeth. So what's not to love about
It's
Bloodstock?
like a really solid lineup drop. They never disappoint at all.
No.
No, their stuff every year has been so good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Decay, what would you say your pick is?
I love that the Eurofests are already announcing their headliners for next year. Like Vaken's done it, and Bloodstock's done it, and everyone's like already announcing these like insane headliners.
And shout out to Vaken for selling out all their tickets in like 5 hours. Like, go them.
They've got
Really?
Yeah.
It's Iron Maiden. It's like, hi, Iron Maiden at the world's biggest heavy metal festival, sold out. Yeah,
You
it's
had me at Iron. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't even have to get to the Maiden part.
You had me at I, and I was there.
I need to unbox this a little bit. I'm still on Iron. So I'm stoked on that stuff. That stuff's really cool. I like that. That's like classic. That's how it kind of feels like we're back to a normal festival world, is when the Eurofests are announcing full 12 months in advance like it used to be. It's not like this, like, all right, 4 months in advance, we think this is happening. It's like, all right, a year out, let's go. So things feel back to normal there. I love that. I gotta say, I am most stoked about fucking Psycho Vegas this weekend.
Oh yeah.
It's
You're gonna have
insane.
so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's already my favorite festival in America, no matter what, every year. But like this year again, like just a DK approved lineup, top to bottom. Merciful Fate, first US show in 23 years. At
Holy
the
shit.
gates, Slaughter of the Soul. Some of my favorite like newer bands. We got Warthog playing, 200 Stab Wounds, Frozen Soul, Elder to get really stoned and listen to in the pool. Midnight's playing, and fucking Fugitive's playing. It'll be my first time seeing them, their second show ever. The bill's insane, top to bottom. It's going to be like 4 days of insanity.
Oh, these are all like packed shows. Super good.
Yeah.
For me, just
Yeah.
recently announced Attila are going to be hitting the road next month, playing Rage front to back every single night. So that in itself is really cool. But then they're joined by two newer bands I actually discovered through Knotfest, being Catch Your Breath and Tala. I did tons of research when interviewing both. And a lot of the time, like, when you're interviewing a band, you're like, all right, this is cool, totally get it, but it's not necessarily your vibe. Both of these bands just right away I caught on to and have been listening to since. So the fact that you'll be able to go and see a band who like that record top to bottom, but then discover more for those two newer, fresher acts, I think super cool. Kind of going back to how we were talking about Pulse on last week's panel. It's just like a really nice juxtaposition of listening to newer bands. So yeah, I thought that was a really cool tour that was announced.
Hell yeah. And it's fun that Attila's doing that, one of those album tours, because this hasn't dropped on the site yet, but coming soon to the Disc Dive, my series I do with Knotfest, is I did the Disc Dive with Franz from Attila. We talked about every single Attila record in their catalog, including, of course, Rage. So it was fun to see that get announced right after we taped that. So that'll be dropping at some point in the near future.
Very cool. There's always so much going on amongst everybody on the panel. Like, all of us have our shows, we're traveling all the time, doing all of these crazy events. So I love seeing how every week kind of ties in together, really. So I want to say thank you, as always, to the lovely panel for joining me right here on Knotfest Heavy Conversations. It's always appreciated, guys.
Woo!
Every time. You know what? I'm just never gonna let any breaks. I'm just gonna keep talking forward. Thank you. On behalf of my fellow hosts, Daniel Decay, Ryan J. Downey, and Corey Westbrook, I've been Alicia Toot, and you already know that we'll be seeing you right here next week. Bye, everybody.